I've got a fun one for you this time around because we don't see these every day. It's a vintage Snap-on KR-637 and 657 bottom box and top box combination. First, we'll go over the KR-657A bottom box. It has 7 drawers. The top 3 drawers are 2 inches deep. The next 3 drawers are 4 inches deep, and the bottom drawer is 6 inches deep. And there's been a little bit of work done on here to clean it up. New drawer liners were put in by the owner, and he cleaned up the drawer slides, which are a little bit rough. The bottom drawer on here isn't opening yet. We're gonna have to take a look at that to see if we can free it up. I think there was a problem with the slides, so we can always make that right easily enough with a new pair of slides if we have to. Or sometimes on these slides, what happens is in the mechanism here, you'll get some dirt that collects over time because the lubrication on the drawer slides collect dust and dirt, and sometimes all you gotta do is blast it out pretty good, either with air or a mild solvent, and then re-lubricate them with a light grease or a heavier oil like lithium grease. Is spray some of that in there. The problem that you risk getting with these is if you work the slide too much or you overwork it and it's not lubed up right, then on these ball bearing slides you can lose the ball bearings. Once they fall out of there, it's all over. You got to get some new slides. Luckily, these came through okay. We just have to check the bottom drawer to see exactly what is causing it to hang up. Now, Snap-on learned a few lessons over time, as did any toolbox manufacturer, and the issue with this box is, and you've heard me talk about this on other videos, is 2 things with the drawers. One of them is, you'll note it is not full extension, meaning you lose about 1 inch of the back of the drawer to the front of the box. The back here does not come out to be flush. And although you don't lose a lot of room, it is more drastic on some other boxes. The older Matco 4S boxes, for example, you'll give up like 2 inches at least. On this box, it's not so bad, but what happens is when you give up any kind of drawer space on a box, then you lose your line of sight. Tools can get stuck back here behind other tools, and it can be difficult if you're not perfectly well organized to find the tools that you're looking for. In addition, there is no latching mechanism on these drawer slides, rather on the drawers. So their newer boxes, Snap-on put these plastic slides under here that latch on the corner. On their Master Series boxes, they have a pivoting mechanism that pivots out of the way when you pull the drawer pull. These don't have anything, and particularly on a box with a top box like this, that can spell disaster if you're not careful, because with a box that's this tall, it's going to be top heavy, and when you start opening drawers, then you can't tip the box over. When you're wheeling the box around, particularly if there's no drawer latches, then the drawers can work their way open when you move the box, and you could unexpectedly tip the box over. It's going to break the box. You may break or lose some tools, and somebody might get hurt. So when you're looking at any vintage box like this, understand that that's how they've been designed and that's how they operate. So there is a potential hazard there. For any new box that you're in the market for, be sure it has a good working latching mechanism for the drawers. The top box here has this really nice hinged lid. And the wonderful thing about this is it hinges in the middle and it folds out of the way, and then normally it locks open. This one is in need of a little bit of work to get the bracket rather that should lock it out of the way to work. And this bracket here is broken, so we're gonna have to do some work to get that up to snuff. But the way the box is designed on top, it's got this really nice compartment up here that has a lock, so you can keep valuables, your wallet, documents. It has a divided top section. It has a cover as well, which I was really happy to see. And the top section here has 10 drawers. They're either 2 or 4 inches deep. And again, the owner replaced the drawer liners. You can see this also does not have full extension drawers, and you lose even more drawer space up here than you do with the bottom box. And again, there is no latching mechanism, so you have to be particularly careful, because this is where you're going to get all your top weighted drawers from up here, because this is such a tall box. So you have an increased hazard of tipping the box over with this top box on it. And it has these really cool smaller drawers here on the right side. You're not going to see too many modern day boxes designed that way with narrower drawers. Most people prefer to have wider drawers if they have a choice in drawer widths. Usually drawers like that are less efficient, because that means even in the bigger drawers you can't store longer tools. But on a box like this, where yeah, you can buy it for functionality, absolutely, because it's really good quality storage. The metal on here is heavy gauge and it's built to last forever. Just know that there are some design limitations given the era in which this was made, and you'll see very different designs with contemporary boxes. Heavy duty handle on the side of the swivel casters. There's 2 swivel casters under the handle and 2 fixed casters on the far side of the box. This top box just sits on top of the bottom box. It does not bolt down, so it does move around on its own. Also understand that if you have a box like this and you're moving it, unless you bolt the top box to the bottom box, if this thing were to tip over, it's a disaster all the way around. So either bolt it down, make sure that you understand the latching mechanism or lack thereof on this one. So if you do move this box, make sure you lock it so that the drawers don't work their way open. Let's go underneath. The underside of the box is pretty typical construction. It has boxed out framing members that run the width of the box front and back. There is nothing that runs the depth of the box, but you don't need it on this kind of design, especially because this box isn't so wide that it's carrying such a load that it could potentially sag. The 4-inch casters are bolted to the frame. And again, those 2 are swivel casters that are under the handle, and these 2 here are fixed. I don't necessarily agree with that design decision, why you would put 2 fixed casters on a 35-inch wide box. It seems to me that you would be better off putting 4 swivel casters on a box this size, because it makes it that much easier to maneuver around the shop, especially when, if you have something like this, you may not have or need a roll-around cart. So you're going to want to get it between vehicles, around lifts, and other obstacles in the shop. And having 4 swivel casters makes that task much easier. Overall, the dimensions are 35.5 inches wide, 55.5 inches tall, and 18 inches deep. A box like this is terrific if you collect vintage pieces. And the guy who consigned it to me asked if he said, "Is there anything you really get for me?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know we can get you something for this box because these are popular and they're built well. You can still get a lot of practical use out of them, but they're terrific because they're a piece of history, especially given the previous owner of this box. He was a technician for about 40 years, I think, and he retired, and the guy who owns it now got the box from him, and it's got some cool history behind it. It looks great in any garage, either a garage or a shop at home. Now, who's best suited for this box if you're not into history and in collecting? Well, you can get these boxes for fairly inexpensive. So they're good for anybody who needs some additional storage, who may be fairly new to the industry, but again, because it's a vintage piece, it's going to have a higher than normal price tag on it. So I do suggest, if you're new to the industry and you're looking for some storage, look at the US General line from Harbor Freight or the Husky line from Home Depot. You can do very well for yourself, get more storage, and probably pay less than what this is going to sell for. But if you're a veteran and you've been turning rentals for a long time, you want yourself a piece of history, or you want a cool augmentation to your current tool storage, this is a terrific option. We're selling this box on consignment for the owner, and that's a terrific deal for everybody because we work out a deal with the owner, what he gets paid for when we sell the box for him, and then we also work out the deal with the buyer. We take care of all the advertising, marketing, and financing of the sale, and then pay the owner of the box once we sell to the buyer. And what it sells for is confidential to the owner, and what we pay him for it is confidential to the buyer. Now, upcoming, we've got some terrific videos that you're not going to want to miss. We have 2 new segments that we're doing, including a vlog segment where I sit down and discuss in a studio setting some news of the tool world, and also a podcast type interview style segment where I have some great sit down chats with mechanics and seasoned vets who are in the know about all kinds of interesting things in the industry, including advice on what you need to know if you're an up-and-comer or if you're a seasoned veteran. There's some great pro tips in there too. So do me a favor, click down here now to subscribe so that you don't miss any of it. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, use a tool, don't be one.